injuries and the schedule's tough and chemistry changes and they kind of claw their way to 10-6 and then get hot and go on the road.
But that doesn't seem like the
2010 Packers.
This doesn't seem like this season.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, like, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to win multiple Super Bowls. You're like, oh, of course he is. He's going to win 7. Brady won 6. No, you don't win 6, and you really don't usually win 4. I think he's going to do better than Aaron Rodgers, right? And Aaron Rodgers had that magical season, and they lost in the playoffs. He also, the year they got there was a year that they kind of clawed their way in.
You don't think it will be very disappointing or considered disappointing by the fan base if they, for the second consecutive year, lose at home in the AFC Championship game, for instance?
I do. I guess it's more that those words are coming out of your mouth, right? If somebody came over to me that was a casual fan, they said, hey, I kind of like the Chiefs, and I kind of listen to you every now and then. And I'll tell you what, this year is Super Bowl or bust. I'd be like, I hear you, and I wouldn't even bother.
Right.
But, like, you know better.
Well, I know it's hard. I know it's hard to win. I'm just saying that all the buildup, they are the favorite. They are the betting favorite.
It's usually the case. We're arguing over semantics.
And I think his comment is reflective, is on what that fan you say would you be okay with it would think.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not going to tear the Chiefs apart and say they're done and this organization's got to go and trade Patrick Mahomes. He's a farce. I mean, they're going to be back at it next year, and they'd probably be the favorites. They'll be like the Dodgers. You know, they've lost the World Series a couple of years in a row, and I think, were the favorites this year. So I think that's the case. But I think the fans are. How many fans do you think have already? Where is the Super Bowl?
Miami.
Have already made plans to go to Miami.
Less than you think.
Well, Miami's a nice place to go for the Super Bowl, or go, period, no matter whether they make it or not. So they're thinking, hey, now, we can save a little money.
I will say this.
The Chiefs are in the Super Bowl.
I do have a friend that's already made plans for the Super Bowl in Tampa the following year because he likes Tampa.
Well, there you go, 2 years out. So he's hoping they don't win the Super Bowl this year.
No, just he wants to be there for the second.
Oh,
for the back-to-back.
Yeah. Okay.
Listen, we're on the same page, but you know how hard it is. Sure. For you or I to say it's Super Bowl or bust is foolish because there's so many injuries that can happen. There's so many things that can just
well, no, I said that there are circumstances that would mitigate that. But if they played as a healthy football team, went 14-2, routed 8 of their opponents, and then didn't make the Super Bowl, that would be disappointing, I think. I think it would be underachieving.
It would bring back 95 and 97.
Yes, but you just laid out the 16 games that we haven't laid out yet.
Yeah. Well,
at 14-2, going into the playoffs as the 1 seed, I will give you, yes, it will be Super Bowl or bust.
If they go 10-6 and Patrick Mahomes misses 6 games and there's all kinds of other injury problems, and they just squeeze into the playoffs, and then they lose in the first round.
And they got to go to
Hall pass.
Yeah,
fine. Yes,
they got to go to Houston. They got to go to Indy, and then they got to go to New England. That's I'm not going to be like it's Super Bowl or bust.
True.
That's
I'm
my
saying
point.
Right now, given the circumstances, and assuming that they'll have a regular NFL season, not a disastrous one. Are you going to go through a season without any significant injuries? Not likely. To your point before, how much of a blow is it if Travis Kelce goes down and they've got you, me, and Curtis playing tight end?
We'd catch 2 touchdowns each. As Reed's the coach and Mahomes the quarterback.
Well, I'd get hurt on the third play after I was put in at tight end.
We'll take a break.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
We're here with Joe Spiker of Easton Roofing. And Joe, oftentimes people will wait to replace their roof until there is a weather event. What should they know about that?
Well, Danny, the important thing to remember is if you're going to turn in a claim to your insurance company, you want to make sure that you actually have damage on your home. If you turn in a claim to your insurance company and they send an insurance adjuster out, it's going to be a claim whether they give you $1 or $10,000. So it's important to make sure that you actually have damage on your home before you turn that claim in. And all you have to do is give us a call. We'll come out, take a look, and make sure there's real damage, and we'll tell you if there's not. Maybe it's just a small repair and it's not worth a claim. So it's always smart to get somebody you trust to make sure there's damage before you turn in a claim.
Quality advice and guidance from Easton Roofing, where integrity matters.
Danny Unleashed, brought to you by Easton Roofing, online at eastonroofing.com.
Hey, Joe, enjoy the lake this weekend. He's on his way to the lake right now.
No, very good, very good. Incredible work, both commercial and residential. Easton Roofing, and, of course, sponsor of Danny Unleashed and DannyClingscale.com. As Danny is with us. All right, Bubba Starling is hitting at least singles right now for the ball club, and is running the bases and is playing some defense. I know he had the one miscue in the outfield. That was clearly his ball that he needed to go get against Alex Gordon. But how much does it pain you after ripping him for years?
I don't think I've ever really – I've just sort of ignored the whole thing, really. I mean, and I think a lot of it was unfair to Bubba Starling. I think maybe he would have had an easier time of it. I don't know. Maybe he's just not good enough to hit at the major league level. I don't know. But having this, even the pressure here, which he's seemingly handling quite well, of getting a standing ovation right when you come to the plate for the first time, all that adds pressure of being the hometown guy. And I'm happy for him. He could have come out of the blocks and, gone 2 for 27 or something like that, and, which he's shown himself in the past to be fully capable of doing.
Right.
But he hasn't. He's survived. He looks comfortable. I mean, he isn't exactly bruising the baseball, but he's a good enough outfielder and player that if you build a team around him to make him be a 7th or 8th hitting whiz in center field who can survive at the plate and run the bases a little bit, do I think he's going to be a regular outfielder in the major leagues? No, I don't. But, I have always, as time went on, the only comparison I used to make was Brian Anderson of the White Sox, who really could field his position, big guy, but never could hit, never hit. And that's still my comp. Maybe Brian Anderson played, parts of maybe 4 or 5 seasons with the White Sox in the major leagues?
Right.
He had a little more pop, I think, although Bubba's supposed to maybe have some eventually. He's sort of switched to survival mode hitting, I think. And that's what's made him, that's what built the average down in the minor leagues. So we'll see. That's still my comp, Brian Anderson, White Sox.
How do you buy the pitching? Do you believe it's real, or is it just a coincidental
I think Brad Keller was in a funk he's a good pitcher. How good is he going to be? To me, probably top out at a third starter on a good staff, which would be fine. Junis is still problematical to me because of the current nature of baseball. The balls fly out of the park unless you're Justin Verlander with a .8 whip. Can survive giving up 26 home runs at the All-Star break and still be good, which Jake Junis isn't. So that maybe is a little more smoke and mirrors to me. So I think it's a good patch, but Brad Keller, that's what I've really been most excited about seeing, because I think he is good, and I didn't want to see him in his second year start to lose confidence or think, well, that was a fluke last year. He's a nice kid, so I'm rooting for him. So the answer to your question is Brad Keller, yes. The rest, probably not.
Really? So you're not buying Junis? Not buying Duffy?
Duffy's Duffy.
Okay, so that's fine.
Yeah, Duffy's Duffy. He's going to be
really.
He's going to look really good sometimes, and then he's going to not look so good, and then he'll go down for a month. I think that's established what he is, which still can be a good guy to have around.
Which if he's on when you go into the postseason, he can be a guy that can win you a game 1-0.
Absolutely.
Or get just walk off the mound after 6, 1-0.
Sure.
He's not going to go 9, but. I'm a little more bullish on Junis. I think that slider is a weapon. They have to find the second.
He has to pitch well enough to get to the slider.
That's true. Yeah. DannyClingscale.com is the website.
Thank you.
The sponsor.
Jed Marshall.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Dan Clinkscale.
One fella, for some reason, said, "Hey, surfer dude, can I buy you a drink?"
Curtis Seabolt.
I'm super.
Soren Petro.
This guy, he is one hell of a dancer, and he's got the sexiest moves I have ever seen. And if you're really serious about going with me, it can only be because his body is so bad.
This podcast was made possible by our great sponsors like Easton Roofing, the presenting sponsor of Kansas City Profiles at the Danny Clingscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. We hope you enjoyed the latest Danny Clingscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Come back soon for something fresh and new.